who don't know, those of you who don't know what this is about, this is the start of our series. This sort of 20-minute. Beautiful. She sneezes. I want you in a business meeting one time to sneeze like that. That would be totally rad. That'll wake them all up. But this is the sort of 20-odd minutes that we just sort of chat to you about a particular life issue. And this one is going to be... I'll move that out of your way so that it doesn't look like you've got this thing in your way there, so to speak. And this particular series we're going to be looking at is called Talking. And it was... designed, I guess, by one of our leaders who's not here tonight, Rory. So he shared this with us some months back, and we thought this was a great idea. So the word talking is going to be looking at the whole idea of releasing built-up emotion, how we manage our emotions, what we do with our emotions. And over the next 7 weeks, we're going to take each letter, and it's broken down into another word, and we're going to unpack it each night. So we're going to start off, and it might get raw over the next couple of weeks, and so that's okay. It's okay to have raw emotion. It's what we do with that raw emotion that will determine the outcome. So I need you just to kind of put the seatbelt on, buckle up, as we get into tonight. And I guess if you're the kind of person who has maybe never looked at your emotions, or you've got so much going on in your world, we want to give you some strategies on how to manage, cope and deal with some of those challenges in your life. Those of you who haven't met Calvin, Calvin is our mascot. He wanders around. We ask you to pat, not pick. All right, so pat him, don't pick him up. If he goes for a boop, just let him do that. Yeah, so no picking him up, just patting him if you can, because he gets frustrated otherwise, and we're trying to teach him how to integrate, So we're going to get straight into it. So tonight, I wonder how many of you feel frustrated at times, or feel like you're carrying around so much baggage, emotional baggage at times, that it's just like it's overwhelming and all you want to do is pull the doona up and sleep. Yeah, Mary, right at the back, nice, Yeah, no one else. You've never felt like that in your life. You'd have to have no heartbeat if you didn't feel like that at some point, right? So throughout our lives, somebody said to me the other week, my life is so up and down, up and down. I said, you know what? If you were in hospital and they had a cardio machine on you, one of those little cardiac thingy, arresty things, make the machine that goes beep, that thing, whatever. That's actually how they show signs of life. If there was a kind of this line that went like that, what would they be doing? Yeah, a bit of a defrip right at that point to bring you back to life. So life is up and down. It is, and it's what we deal with and how low our lows are and how high our highs are without any interference in any other substance. And so we're just talking about life. So what comes our way is, what I want to challenge you right from the start is, what gets shared here and what you share in your packs is entirely up to you. But here's a caution and a warning. Whatever somebody does divulge in their pack, it is an absolute privilege for you to be in that little group and hearing that person share. It is an honour and a privilege and needs to be trusted and respected with that level. You do not have the right to take that information and then when you're at school or when you're at work or when you're on Facebook, take that information and use it against that individual. That would be just bad, wouldn't it? How would you feel about that if that was your life being exposed right at that point? Pretty garbage. Yeah. So, I don't know about pretty garbage, but... Awful, yeah. It's terrible when you feel like you want to be vulnerable and deal with some of your stuff. It takes great courage to open out and share. For some of you, I encourage you to actually do that, to actually trust your group and share. You might share the toe. You might not share the leg. Right, so that's like putting the toe in the water, testing the water's warm, You might just share the toe this evening, so just testing the water, put it in, right, everybody do that, with your toe. And not the whoop noise, well, you can just do that too, but, these people, so literal, I want to see everybody's foot go like that, right, oh, you're so not into it, so anyway, the toe's down the front here we're in. So I just want you to test the water tonight with your pack and with people. One of the challenges with dealing with anything emotional is there's a whole lot of rollout of stuff that happens in our own mind before we actually share. Some of the things we're going to talk about over this next 7 weeks, there are people who have been so bound up their entire life they've never been able to get free of their own emotions. They've never been able to get free of things that have damaged them, hurt them, distracted them, been pain in their life. The things that we're going to talk to you about over the next 7 weeks, you could pay a psychologist, a psychiatrist or any other doctor thousands and thousands of dollars and still, at the end of that, not come out with any solutions. Well, we're going to give it to you for free. We're going to tell you some really clear strategies on what you could apply to your life for the rest of your life that will change your life. How about that? Would that be cool? Yeah. If you let us do that? But there is a challenge. And the challenge is quite simply, you have to open your mind and your heart to receive what we're going to share with you. Because you know what you could do? You could quite simply sit there and go like this. Yeah, heard it all before, not interested. And do you know what that's called?
Ignorance.
Well, good word. Yeah, it is called ignorance, but it's also called nursing. So if you want to hold on to your little emotional baby, everyone, come on, everybody hold on. We're going to get you very active. Hold on to that little emotional baby. Oh. Now look down, what's its name? He, she, oh. Resentment, oh, you looking good, baby. Oh. Pain, oh, you're looking good, man. You got some legs on you. Resentment, so I want you to name that baby, because what we're going to do is we're going to toss that baby out over the next few weeks. What? And the butt. Yes, I said we're throwing it out. Hey, I did that to my kids. They bounced. It's all right. They grew up all right. Just skidded off the concrete. They were all right. So the challenge for us is quite simply, over these next weeks, we're going to have some fun moments. And what happens, here's what happens, is when we start to sort of peel back the layers and we start to go down deeper into some stuff that might be some painful plays, people start to make jokes. They start to make jokes of things and, it's like peeling back the nappy. What's in there, So it's like what we want to do is actually take care of the nappy, take care of the sugar honey iced tea that's sitting in that nappy that you want to get rid of. Would that be cool? Yeah. I can tell you, if you don't, you'll just go round the mountain again. Time and time and time again, right through your entire life, feeling, why am I this way? Why can I never get free of it? Why am I always stuck in this place? That's because you've got this little baby that you don't want to get rid of. Just coming to terms with the fact that you nurse and rehearse your own emotional baggage is the challenge right through our lives. Right through our lives. Am I going to hang on to this? I'm going to hold on to this. I was out with a friend last week, and right at the end, I spent a bit of time with this guy, and right at the end of the conversation, he said something to me that it kind of caught me off guard. And my response was, so James, come and be my model. He didn't look as handsome as you though, James, Right at the end, he shared something with me, like within 2-3 minutes of separating, leaving one another's company. He said this thing to me. Well, I'm not going to tell you what it is because that'll give it away, and there's a lot of people watching. He said something to me like just simply this: "No worries, catch you later." You can sit down. That was my modelling right there, For 3 days, I was tortured by that thing that he said to me, emotionally. I went through anger. I went through ringing a friend. Can I put out a contract on so-and-so? I know, I went through murder in my heart, I thought I was so offended by what that person said because it felt like the time that I was with them, that was actually what they wanted to speak to me about. It wasn't all the stuff that we talked about before. It was like they wanted to get that point out right at the end. And it disturbed me for 3 days. Until I got to a point where I thought, you know what? Kick that baby out, I don't want that anymore. I'm not hanging on it. I get pretty aggressive with emotion babies, because I think they distort us, they twist us, and they control us out of control. I know, having this young dog in my house, holy dooly, for the he's down the back there. It's like, it's been a long time since I've had an infant in my home, and having a young puppy in my home is like, 1 o'clock in the morning, he wants something. he wants to chew my arm off, or he wants to go wee-wees, you know. I got to get up, what's going on, you know, and then 3 o'clock he wants to go again, and then there's poop on the ground. I got to, well, that's lovely. I think I'll leave that there for the boys in the morning to walk in, you know. Can't do that, you know, I've got to be responsible. So there was this, you know, it's a lot of pressure and you get tired and worn out, and it's the same as our emotions. Our emotions will twist us out of shape and they will control us if we don't learn to take control of them and put some strategies around how we can actually deal with it. And for some of you, your emotional state has become your best friend. It's the thing you talk about the most. It's the thing the place you go to the most. It's that thing that's your best friend. And you know what? You will never be free of your best friend. You only get free of your enemy. If somebody offends you in some way, how quick are you to let them go? you know, so we sort of like flip them off real quick and say, you know, you don't matter to me. And these can be close friends that you can do that to, and while you might emotionally struggle with it, you can quite quickly as humans, we can discard people.
It is hard though.
It is hard.
Trying to get rid of.
Yeah. It is, because they keep coming back. They got legs and a heartbeat, and they keep ringing your doorbell and texting you and get on your Facebook page. What's wrong? What's going on? And because we haven't learnt how to process our emotions, we don't talk about it. We just keep jamming it all down in there until some point it begins to erupt. And I'm going to show you what those erupting emotions look like. And I'm not looking at anybody in particular, okay, so let's just get that right. If I look at you, it's because you've got a pretty face, right? It's not because I'm looking at you going, you've got this emotional issue. You're going, oh my God, he's looking at me, you know. So, all right, I want to look at eyeballs rather than like that. So, yes, you know, so we're not doing that. All right, so tonight, the T is telling. Telling what's going on inside us. How many of us are really good at telling everybody our stuff? Come on, be honest. You tell everybody you bump into. Someone says to you, how are you going? Oh, mate, let me tell you. Is that you? Yeah. I just tell everybody, you know. Make it all their problem. I feel so good at the end of the week, you know. And everybody else is like, you know, she's got so much emotional babies. She just left them with me. So the challenge for us is if you tell people, every person, now you go out and you tell everybody, and you might feel good, but what have you done to everybody else? Hey? You've damaged them. You've given them your baby, and they don't know how to look after your baby. And they go, Bianca, you know. And then what they do is they take Bianca's baby and they go and talk. You know, they go and talk to James and say, James, I don't know what to do with Bianca's baby. Here, you take that baby. And then we have a little cuddle baby party, you know. And now he's got the problem, but she's all like Skippy, you know, because she shared her baby with me. But me and James are, oh my God, what are we going to do about Bianca's baby? We don't know what to do with the Bianca's baby because Bianca's given it to everybody.
Sounds like a disease.
What did you just say? Say it again. Say it again. Out loud, come on. Come on.
Sounds like a disease.
It sounds like a disease. You are absolutely on the money. Sharing our stuff around to anybody and everybody is simply like a disease. It's like, have you ever been around someone that's coughing and spluttering, they've got a bit of a cold? What do? I am a Glen 20 freak. Right? In my house, I have Glen 20 cans strategically placed in my house. They're for farts or they're for sneezing, right? So, because the dog's bad at that, not the boys. But anyway, so, you know, I'll hear someone coming to my house. I'll spray. I do it in the office. I hear the girls in the office. I got a cold. I'm in there with a Glen 20. Yeah. If they open their mouth too long, spray right down in there. There's no way that germ's coming out.
Disgusting.
Hey?
Tastes disgusting.
It tastes.
You're not supposed to eat it.
Have a word later. You're right. So the challenge for us is quite simply this. It is and can be a disease if it's not told to the right person. Because if you're offended by somebody, they have this technical term. It's called transferred offence. Everyone say? Transferred offence. Right, good. Say it at home. Look, turn to your partner and say transferred offence. Right? So, just so you know, online, we have about 500 young people from around the world now tuning in on a Monday night, so it's very cool. It's very cool. And welcome to you. Good to see you. So, it's called transferred offence. And what that simply means is, Bianca comes to me and she starts telling me about so-and-so. And I go, oh, yeah, bitch, you know. Now, has her friend offended me in any way?
No.
No, but I want to remain friends with Bianca, so she is such a bitch, you know. So then what happens is I go away and I'm going, oh my God, you know, yeah. And everything her friend does, I'm looking and going, yeah, that's right. But all of a sudden what I didn't realise is later that night, Bianca got on Facebook and said, I'm so sorry, I love you, it's forever, besties, pinky promise, you know. They've made up, love, you know, whatever, you know, and they've made up, and where am I? I'm still like seething, you know. And I go up to Bianca and go, oh, your friend, I saw her the other day. Why are you so harsh towards my friend? Hang on a second. It's called transferred offence. If you never come back to me and tell me that you've actually processed that, dealt with that, I hang on to that offence called transferred. That happens a million times a day. When you catch yourself, it's important that you catch yourself. If someone's going to tell you something, an emotional issue, and they're going to tell you something, you better make sure that you don't transfer the offence, right? They call that sympathy. I can sympathise with you and you stir up all the offences you've got, you just add so-and-so's name on top and go, yeah, bitch, you know? And it's called, and that whole state, whereas empathy is quite simply where I can appreciate what you're saying, but you're not taking on any of their baggage, any of their emotional state. So sympathy and empathy, those two things can determine whether someone tells you something, what you do with what they're sharing with you. Now, it's really important that we respect the fact that somebody feels comfortable with sharing with you. But can you have the wisdom and the patience to say, you know what, I really appreciate what you just said to me, but have you gone to so-and-so and talked to them about that? Oh, no, I'm not doing that. Well, how about I go with you? The minute you say to someone, if James and I have got an offence with Tyler and he's telling me blah, 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 and I say to him, mate, come on, let's go and see Tyler. You go, nah, mate, she's right. I'm going, then I know what's he doing? Avoiding? And what else is he doing?
Seeing you outside of that.
Oh, I just want to hang on to that baby. You know? That's what he's saying. I want to hold on to it. And I'm saying, no, I want to kick that thing to the curb. You know? And he's saying, no, I want to hang on to my offence. I'm saying, I want you to deal with it. Because he's your friend. Was he not your friend? Yeah, he was until 5 minutes ago. Nice sneeze.
Bless you!
And so the challenge, guys, quite simply, is in your life, right through your life until you're an old geezer and you can't remember anything after that, you know, it won't matter, you know, but once you can go through your whole life, you don't learn how to recognise this when it's coming at you, you will feel emotionally pulled down and full every step of the way. Because what will happen is you'll take on other people come to you and go, oh, you're so easy to talk to. Be careful if you're so easy to talk to. Because then you might not be the person that can actually speak back to them about an action plan that they might need to do to deal with that. Now, if you are so easy to talk to and they put that on you, you might go to your next person and say, oh man, I'm so emotionally full of stuff, I don't know what to do. Where is there somebody for me? I'm so busy taking on everybody comes to me, talks to me, personal messages me, texts me, you know, talks to me at school, at work, you know, they're talking to me, they're overloading me, and now what about me? What about my emotions? What about my love? Nobody wants to know about me. And you go, oh, share it with me. Bad move. Because you haven't learned how to process your stuff. You haven't learnt how to deal with the stuff that you've got going on in your world. Far less take somebody else's information on. So, here's what happens. Have you ever heard the expression bottled up?
Yes.
Yeah? Somebody's bottled up, you know. Oh, they're so bottled up, you know. Sometimes that feels like that. You know, if you... I did it on the weekend to my boys. I went to the health food shop, KFC, and I bought some meals. And I came back home and I had their 7-Ups. Now, if they're watching this, they're going to beat the crap out of me later. As I went home, I thought I'm going to play a joke on them. So in the car, I got their 7-Up bottles, shook the crap out of them. And then I went up and I sat down outside with them. And I said, oh, how's it going? And when my youngest son opens, I'm going. And he goes, oh, yeah, he said a whole lot of things that I won't say on air, you know. And I just smiled and I did not confess, all right. And then the other one, he's smarter. He taps the top of his moustache, diffuses the gases in it or something, opens it up and went, damn it. I'm going to wait till he puts that down, you know. So sometimes it can be like that. Sometimes things in our life can shake us up so much that we feel like at any moment, you know, it's just going to burst. And this is what happens, is somebody will say something to you, boom, and you instantly react. Instantly. It's like, it is almost describe it. It's a bit like, have you ever made a cup of tea or something, or a hot chocolate or something, and you're carrying that hot drink, but you have brimmed it, you know? You have like, this is the, I don't want to go back for a second cuppa. This is the one, you know? And you take that thing and you walk like that. You know, you don't normally walk like that, but you walk like that. You can see Keely down the back there giggling because that's what she does all the time. Especially if you want to get back to someone. You go, you fill up their glass so full they can't get off and they have to do that. You know, that's so attractive. You know, so date someone and do that. It's so attractive to see that face. You know, so anyway, back to the story. So the challenge is quite simply, sometimes our emotions are just like a brimming cup where you've got to be so gentle with them. We know these people, sometimes we've been these people, and you look at this and you travel along and you go, you know, and it over goes, and you're so busy trying to keep all it in that you forget where you're actually going and what you're actually trying to do. It's exactly the same as our emotions. If we try to carry people along, it's like, oh my God, it's like, eggshells, you know, stepping on eggshells around that person. We've got to be free of that. You have to be free of that. And so, people who bottle stuff up, this is how they react. Or this is sometimes the thinking. How about I give you, 6 or so ways of thinking. And if you relate to any of these, good. Because then it might be an opportunity for you to process some of this out. Sometimes dealing with telling somebody how we're feeling could be in a work environment or a home environment where there's abuse. I know for my journey, there was a little bit of abuse, violence in my home, and I felt like I couldn't share that with anybody. Not only couldn't share, I was small in stature, so I couldn't fight back. You know, Dad was bigger. I was a kid. I was primary school, and so I couldn't fight back. I couldn't fight back in my words, and I couldn't fight back physically because I wasn't strong enough. So what did I do?
Bottled it up.
Ka-ching, listening. You know, so I bottled it up, and then I felt like nobody would want to hear it. So that's what would happen, is I would go, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to keep jamming all this down, and yet I would feel anxiety and stress and fear and all kinds of things that as a young boy was quite brutal, you know, emotionally. I couldn't even figure it out, didn't even know who to go to. I was going to go and talk to my brother about it, but I couldn't talk to him because he was going through the same stuff in his way, in our environment. If I was to show, this might be something else for you, if I was to show my emotions, like a little tear, you know, or say I'm not coping, it was a sign of weakness. It's like I was a weaker person. People might look at me and go, pussy, you know. And that was a familiar word through my schooling. You know, I don't know if they use that now. I don't know, what do you call wuss? What would you call it now?
Pussy.
A pussy? Still pussy. Moving on. So you can't show emotions because it's a sign of weakness. So that's number 2. Number 3, it's not normal to feel this way. Somebody who's bottled stuff up, I'm not normal. There's something not normal about me. That's the thinking that you have. It's not normal to feel this way. Why do I feel this way? But you keep it inside. You don't talk about it with anybody. You know? And then, of course, what will others think? What will others think?
Who cares what other people
I like that. I like the fact, who cares at 51? My dad told me, no, at my age, at 51, I probably don't. And yet, while I was preparing this, I was tested on that this last week. I don't care what they think. Well, hang on a second. Yes, I do. Because it's disturbing me for 3 days. So I do think. And it does worry me. I may get through it quicker, may suffocate that little baby, but, not literal babies, all right? Not literal babies. I love children. No one else will understand, I don't know, in my lifetime, how many times I've said that and how many times I can't count. I'd be a multi-millionaire for the amount of times people have said to me, you wouldn't understand. I go, really? I've heard it all. Try me. I had a guy in my office last week. He was sharing with me. He goes, oh, you wouldn't understand. So I just turned around and said, okay, bugger off. And he goes, what? I said, no, I wouldn't understand. Bugger off. Why are you here? A young adult and not connected to Brisbane. I said, okay, bugger off. Turned around and I put my feet up on the ledge in my office and looked out the window. He starts laughing. I said, I don't know what you're laughing at. He goes, are you serious? I said, I'm serious. If I can't understand, then what are you going to share with me? I won't understand. So you're the wrong person in the wrong room. So what did you do?
Walk out?
No, he started sharing. I said, you know what? That's so funny. This was my life. Let me tell you a little story. He does understand. Duh. So the challenge and it's a trap. It's actually a trap. It's a nappy trap. All right? So it's a trap. It actually keeps all of that trapped inside us. Right? So it is a trap. So the challenge for us is quite simply, people do understand. And if you don't share it, how could they possibly learn how to help you? They might not be able to help you. That doesn't mean they don't understand your situation, and it doesn't mean they don't know somebody who could help your situation right now. So, what we do is we do this thing. You wouldn't understand. Because I love my rejection baby. Oh, maybe that's just me. Shock is one of the other ones. If something happens to us, we don't know how to deal with it. I was a young fella at primary school. I didn't know how to deal with violence in my home. I just didn't. I didn't. Hang on. What do I do with this? How do I deal with watching my dad beat my mum? How do I deal with that? I'm a primary school age.
You don't deal with it.
No, you're right. I didn't deal with it.
You can't.
Well, you do, and we're going to give you some strategies on how to deal with it. I couldn't deal with it then, but I have dealt with it now. So, but this is the way we think, and sometimes, even when we're at young adult age, teenagers, young adult, it doesn't matter, when shock happens in loss, and we don't know how to deal with it, we need to process. We need to tell someone what we're doing, how we can process through that. I've got to always be the strong one. I get this a lot. Being in my industry, there's this perception I have to be that guy. My leadership team know my weaknesses, most of them, and
Hey, Bonnie.
just scared me. And they know my weaknesses, my shortcomings. They know that about me, and that's good. I'm okay about that because I'm okay about who I am. But there's a perception that you've always got to be the driver. You've always got to be the strong one. You've always got to have the knowledge. You've always got to be that person. I know there are people sitting in this room, people come to you all the time, talk to you about stuff, and you think, I've always got to be the strong person. I've always got to be the one that doesn't look like they've got anything going wrong or anything going sideways in their life. One of the last ones is I don't want to be hurt. If I share my stuff, now when I was a young man in my 20s, I took a risk. I shared with a chap that I knew in business, and I shared with him. We went out for a beer and cordial, and I said to him, he said to me, Phil, tell me a bit about your life. I started sharing some stuff with him. Lo and behold, did I know that he knew people that I knew, and he went back and spoke to those people about that. It was not good, the outcome of that. For him, from my perspective, it was not a good outcome for him. Let's just leave it at that. And so the challenge was I took a risk and I shared it and I got hurt again by it. So what did I learn to do?
Don't tell anybody.
hurt baby, you know, now. So I've got a whole section of babies now. I've got a whole crib full, man, you know. So what do some of the signs look like that you've got emotional blockage? Like you're all backed up there and you've got a blockage. Here's how you do it. Got a very short temper. Like it takes like the hair off your head to kind of boom, to let that go. Doesn't matter what it is, it's on there. Now, some people are what they call explosive, you know. They slam doors, punch walls, you know. Hopefully don't kick the animals, you know, but, you know, they take off in their car. For me, my brother was like a wheel spinner. I call him a wheel spinner, you know. Gets in his car, off down the road. And I can hear him, and I'm thinking, waiting for it, you know. He was a wheel spinner. So men would be that. Slam a door, into the car, gone. I was what they call a seether. So my short temper was internal. So I would think of ways that I wouldn't be found out to get you back.
That's scary.
And I was very good at it.
Uh-oh.
I'm not proud of that now for some of the things, and I have, hopefully, I've righted my list, you know, of everybody that I ever did wrong like that, because I was operating out of a temper. The next one is that person that just does what they call escapism. Do you know that? So escapism is, the doona's lovely today and for the rest of my life. You know, they pull the doona up over their head and they don't ever want to come out of their bed. They might. Now, I'm not looking around at anybody, but I want to look around at people, all right? Because some of you go, oh my God, that's so me. You know, so the challenge for us is quite simply, escapism is real. Fight, flight. Right? And so some of us take off, fight, or we're raging. The other one is we're flight emotionally. We want to just, you know, kind of pull the doona up. That's where drug addictions come in. That's where alcoholism comes in. You know, the use of alcohol, food, sport, work. You can become a workaholic. Sometimes people go, oh, you know, it looks good to be a workaholic, but it's actually not. It's just another way of dealing with escapism you don't want to deal with. I had a friend of mine that managed supermarkets, and he had a lot of children, couldn't cope with children, so he just stayed longer at work. He just couldn't cope with the many kids. I said, well, you had the fun part, man. You know, like that's the responsibility part. He goes, no, time out, man. And he was brilliant in supermarkets. So the challenge for us is quite simply escapism, is that whole thing. You might be a person that is numb. You've hung on to stuff for so long, it's even hard for you to actually define what the actual drama is anymore. It's been how you've felt for so long, it's just this feeling, and you can't actually, it's just like a big blob of snot, you know, it's just this thing that it's ugly and it's nasty, and you just don't actually know what the centre of this thing is, where it actually came from. So you start to use language like, I've just been like this my whole life. Because you've actually never processed that in a strategic way. The interesting part about holding on or bottling stuff up, it actually, your body, your physical body, responds in sickness. And there is cases where people have been bent over, you know, distorted in their bodies due to unresolved anger. We're going to introduce you to a friend of ours in a few weeks' time that's got an unbelievable story of not dealing with her emotions and how it reacted in her body. And I tell you, when you look at her, you'll never know what's happened to her. She is an amazing lady. She's going to come and share in a couple of weeks. Be here for that night. So it comes out in sickness. You know, ulcers come from that. Diarrhea comes from that. That sense of like, I can't eat because your nerves, your anxiety, you've got too much adrenaline in your gut. Sickness comes out of that. So it rolls out into your world.
It's just a high five.
The other thing is avoidance. Avoidance is a brilliant one, you know. You might be that person that just says, no, don't want to look at it. I've dealt with that. Okay, sure. Now, I'm not talking about taking your issues and then doing this again. Ooh. You know, hurt and betrayal. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about avoidance is that person that doesn't even want to look at it anymore. I'm not talking about nursing and talking about it with everybody. I'm talking about looking at your emotional state and saying, you know what, I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to tell somebody where I'm at, what I'm doing, what I'm going through. So, over these next few weeks, we're just going to, tonight's just peeling back that first layer. Now, here's what could happen to you over the next 7 weeks. What do you reckon might happen to you over the next 7 weeks?
We're going to talk.
Pardon?
We're going to talk.
You might talk.
Learn something.
You might, hopefully you'll learn something, yeah. Susan?
Start to feel raw.
Yeah.
Start to feel that.
Yeah.
Your baby becomes heavier.
Yes, absolutely. You go, this dude's putting on weight, man. You know, so exactly. All of a sudden you start to bring this thing up. I don't know about you, but there are times, my boys will tell you, there have been times I've been watching a cartoon and I went through a few years of like trying to deal with my emotions of pain and journey through my childhood and into my adolescence. I'll be sitting there watching a cartoon like Dragon Ball Z and I'll be bawling my eyes out. Goku. And my boys would be looking at it. It's not that bad, Dad. I said, you just don't understand. Yeah, you just don't understand. There'd be movies I'll be watching all of a sudden I go, oh, that's awkward, you know. And now I've just let myself weep. And I don't care if I look weird. Why? Because there's something that's happening that needs to heal at that point. And what do? I start to feel it rise up and get dealt with. And what do? Swallow hard, blink a lot, and try and jam that little thing right back down in there. Hang on to it again. Maybe in another 20 years it'll surface, you know. Hey?
Sounds like food.
Well, it could be that. That hurts.
No, I'm jammed back.
But we do this, guys. I tell you, we do it. Why do I know that? Because for 30 years I've been working with young people. And I see it work in young people. I see it in my life. I see it in my friends' life. I see their behaviours all the time. Our four top values at Bridge Builders is love, value, acceptance and belonging. We will do whatever we need to do in our lives to get those four needs met in our life. They are four fundamental human needs. So guys, this week, as you go into your pack, I want you to be careful. As we begin to unpack this, your baby, your emotional baby might get heavier. The challenge for you, as you go, I'm not going to Bridge Builders this week, make a commitment in your mind and to your pack tonight, to one another, that you're